Hello and welcome to Parish and Community. My guest today is parishioner Carl Greiner. Carl, it is lovely to have you with us today.
Thank you much for the opportunity, Angela.
Tell me about your own involvement. How did you first get involved with College Church?
We had the opportunity, Laura and I had the opportunity probably 10 years ago. Our sons were enrolled at St. Louis University High School, and both of us were probably looking for something a little more in our faith journey and kind of where we were. And we went out, as we call, shopping parishes and went around the region. And we spent a number of weeks at College Church and felt to be called to be there. So we just started arriving on Sundays, and that was kind of the beginning of things back in about 10, 11 years ago. And had a good opportunity as well to be welcomed in by a couple of folk. One was Vicki Simon, who had met through Just Faith at my prior parish, Our Lady of Sorrows, and she had seen me in church, and we got to talk and knew she was from the neighborhood, so she invited me to take some time and consider where I wanted to plug in. And Father Bueller may not have been that patient with that, but he got to talk to him, and he knew my finance background, so he didn't hesitate to invite me to the finance committee. So
That's right. To whom much is given, much is expected, right?
right.
So finance, what other ministries have you been associated with?
The place I plugged in is probably more with the social ministry side. I was active with the St. Louis Winter Outreach back when it originated with Tekka Childress, and I know with Ann Osdek and setting up the Winter Inn. I have been plugged in with that since its inception as well here at College Church. So, between finance and the Winter Inn, those were probably the two main connections I've had, more as a function of where I was with my career, and my kids were out state. So, two of the three. So just with schedules and things, it was hard to do much more. So.
And for those who may not know about Winter Inn yet, say how that, when did that get started?
That's a great question. I don't know exactly the year, but it probably has been in the last 8 years or so, where I remember the St. Louis Winter Outreach was going out on the street, and I did that with a number of people as well at that time. But coming out of that effort was an outreach to parishes and other areas of churches, not just Catholic, but where can we have people stay to get them off the street on nights so they don't freeze to death? And I think at that point in time, Anne was open to the idea and raised it up, and we moved forward with opening up an inn for 15 people. And at College Church, we're open on 2 evenings a week, and I think it's Wednesday and Thursdays this year, and that provides an opportunity for 15 people to come in overnight, have a nice hot meal, and generally they like to just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Get a warm and a good night's sleep, and they're just grateful for that. And that's something that the parish provides to them. So thank you to all the parishioners for supporting that effort. So.
Yeah. And you're involved with the efforts that the anti-racism team has been putting together for a new series on racial justice issues. Can you talk a bit about that?
Certainly I can. I have had the opportunity to be connected with Winnie Sullivan and Lisa Burke, who are heading up that committee for us here at College Church. And as we've been kind of, we say, getting our legs under us and determining how do we do the work. One of the awarenesses I had in my journey, and I shared with the committee and with Lisa and Winnie, is how do we bring people to an awareness of, okay, here's the many faces of racism and how it's hiding in plain sight for us today. And it's not all about history. I'd say it's easy to look back, and as were the Jesuits, there were slave holdings. But for myself as a white male, it's okay, how do I benefit from systems that were built to oppress people, for lack of a better term? But I think these series are meant to bring people into an engagement and more a self-reflection, if you will, of kind of where are we as individuals, and are we aware of what's happening? And a few of the topics, we have one scheduled for February 11th Joyce Jones is going to be our guest speaker from down at the Archdiocese, and she's going to talk a little about the racialization of America. Again, just kind of the history, but also some of the presence and where we are. And then coming up on March 11th, we're going to have Jeff Schulenberg talk to us a little bit about racism in housing in the St. Louis region and kind of what that's looked like over the years and what that may look like today. We're going to have other topics with financial insecurity. We have a guest speaker coming as well to talk about our legal systems and our justice systems and what those look like. You know, you got a lot of information hitting the airways about the workhouse or the medium security prison here in town. We've lived through the Ferguson. We've seen different things, and kind of, well, how does that speak to us, and what are we called to as a community of Catholics at St. Francis Xavier College Church to discern what we need to do with that individually and then collectively. But I think this series is more, I call it an appetizer, if you will, a chance to talk about different topics and come on in and lean in as you can. And, you know, hopefully we're open to do this in a faith, Ignatian discernment type of way individually and as a community, and determine what role we can play going forward. So.
And I'll make sure that I put the link for signing up to register to attend via Zoom on the on this YouTube video once that gets published, so people will be able to sign right up from there.
Awesome.
Do you have a sense of what you hope to get planted as a parish, where things might go from here?
Yeah, I think it. You know, I think what I'm aware of is as individuals, for me it starts with awareness. I think all of us have to be aware of, okay, kind of here's what I bring, here's who I am, and here's where I may be complicit and not aware. And you know, in many ways, I hope this program provides an awareness for individuals. And creates in us a desire as individuals and as communities. Okay, what can we do to fight racism and become an anti-racist parish, and what does that look like? I don't believe any of us have the answer. It hasn't been done, but I think engaging in the work is most important for us. And I'm hoping that we can grow our community of awareness and desire to change here in our parish. You know, I think we've got a good committee, but I think we need to broaden that out and kind of, okay, how do we embrace that, and what does that look like, and engage in the dialogue and just see where that takes us. I mean, racism isn't going away overnight. Right. It's a long body of work we're going to do. So with that in mind, how do we embark on that? Where do we pick up and what do we do? So, yeah.
Tell me about your own faith journey. Have there been particular moments that stand out for you along the way? You know,
I have. I had the good fortune, it may not be seen that way, well, it wasn't seen that way at the time, but in my prayer parish at Our Lady of Sorrows, we had a good friend of mine. We had the opportunity to be co-chairs of a $4.5 million building campaign.
Whoa.
And, you know, it was a gift as I look back on it. At the time, I felt like God was stretching me, and
sure.
Kind of like you're on the anvil getting formed, and it's like, oh, I don't know how comfortable this is. But, you know, we also had, at that point in time, we had our pastor and our associate pastor removed under the abuse scandal at the time. And, you know, so just as a body of Christ, as people, as parishioners, just the gift of being able to work together with that and in that, and, you know, finding God somewhere amidst that and how he's calling us, you know, and for me, that really, you know, was a formative moment, as well as, you know, recognizing that, you know, we all have our own talents, and priests have their own talents. They're human as well and make mistakes. And from that perspective, you know, kind of how do we as parishioners work with that? And I remember Mary Ellen Mueller, one of our parishioners, still said, you know, priests will come and go, but we as parishioners are always going to be here. So how do we work together towards our own outcomes and what we want to be? And so I think that was one of the items that was very informative. I also had the opportunity a few years later, in around 2006 maybe, or 07, with gathering a collaborative of parishes, 5 in South City, to start up Southside Youth Ministry. You know, we'd become aware with our daughter, who was older at the time, Christina, who's parishioner at College Church now, but she had some good experiences with the youth group in the one of the Catholic parishes nearby, and it became one of those of, okay, how do we do this for more of a wider base? And
Right.
we were able to bring 5 parishes together in South City and move forward with piloting and having Southside Youth Ministry for, I guess it was around for almost 6-7 years. So, and just being able to work with teens on that journey. And, you know, as I laughed with Father Dan a number of years ago, I said, yeah, how hard is it for a priest to speak to people every Sunday in a homily when you're speaking to, you know, 70, 80-year-old individuals? You're speaking to parents trying to raise kids, and then you've got the teenagers and the college kids. You know, there's just it's hard. So in that context, we were able to put together a youth ministry, and just seeing the Lord work through that with the friends of ours in various parishes we pulled in to govern the group, and the pastors, and just seeing the kids grow and develop, and kind of where they are today. It's quite a gift to see. So.
That's smart to bring several parishes together because it can be hard for one parish to have all of the resources to do that well.
Yeah, it is. It was, you know, it is. It's just difficult, and you know, I think that's the space we continue to be in as a Catholic Church. Is even here in Grand and Lindell, how do we partner and collaborate with those around us, and what might we be able to do? So, yeah.
Well, do you have a fun fact about yourself that maybe some of your fellow parishioners don't know yet?
I think my wife will, I'll hear from her after she sees this video, but you know, years ago, back when we were first married, we used to laugh a lot, and it's like, okay, what do you want to do? At that point in time, I described my options where I wanted to fly jets in the Air Force, or I wanted to be an accountant. And to this day, if anybody knows anybody who has a connection to the Blue Angels and get me up in a plane, let me know. I'd love to still do that. So
okay. Blue Angels recruitment team, if you're watching, get in touch.
Yeah.
Carl, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Angela. Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.